Hi, I'm Peach, and this is my three-part vlog series about being a pole dancer and preparing and going through a laparoscopy for suspected endometriosis. So I wanted to film this because I wanted there to be a resource for people who might have questions or concerns who are in a similar situation, and also just to track my journey so that people who have a chronic health issue, who also want to pole dance, or who pole dance already and are worried about continuing their training, a little resource to maybe support you and make you feel like a little bit motivated and like you've got this. So I am booked in for a laparoscopy, which is a type of keyhole surgery for August. Today is the middle of June 2022, so it's in just under 2 months time that my surgery is booked. I ended up going private because I have been under the NHS for investigation for 2 years, and previous to that I have had symptoms dating back on my medical records to 2016. So it's a long time coming, and after the pandemic, gynae services in particular are really backlogged. The wait lists are crazy. I'm currently on the wait list for a phone call at the time of filming this. And it's just, if you're not somebody who's actively going through fertility treatment, or whose symptoms are, serious enough that the doctors have deemed you kind of serious enough to go ahead of the queue, then you're waiting and waiting. It's just a waiting game. And I know that I wouldn't, if I maintained this kind of trajectory, I wouldn't be looking at a laparoscopy for at least maybe a year and a half, 2 years, if I can even convince them to put me on the wait list, right? So I decided to go private, and the private doctor has stated it sounds like endometriosis. I have all of the symptoms. I have some physical signs of it as well, from the physical exam, and yeah, it is impacting my life. I had the Marina coil fitted in November last year, which is the first form of treatment that they offer for endometriosis suspected, and it has helped my life massively. I know that the Marina coil isn't for everybody, hormonal contraception isn't for everybody, but it has really helped me. So my symptoms have got massively better, which also suggests that it is endometriosis. However, the only way to diagnose endometriosis is through diagnostic surgery, a laparoscopy. There is currently no blood test for it. It doesn't always show up on scans. So for example, I've had 2 ultrasounds and I've had an MRI, which have all come back normal. And yet I still have got a whole load of different symptoms. Now the diagnostic surgery will tell me whether it is or isn't endo. There is a chance that it isn't endometriosis and it is something else, in which case I'm back in the diagnostic game, but at least I've ruled out endometriosis, and I won't be adding 2 years onto my diagnostic journey there. So this whole thing has really impacted my relationship with pole dance. So I opened my studio 4 years ago, and that was when my back pain really started, and I believed that it was because of the increase in activity, right? That would only just make sense. I've just opened a pole studio, I've started teaching a lot more. Back pain, and it wasn't that often, it was a few times a year. Back pain would come with the territory, right? So I started seeing a physiotherapist, but the exercises weren't working, and she became increasingly confused because the pain would seem to change sides of the body. It would change in how it presented. So I'd go to see, and she'd say, "Oh, it's because your left glute is weak, so we'll work on that." 3 months later, I'll be back. She said, "Oh, it's because your right glute is weak." We'll work on that. It just didn't make sense. It just didn't make any sense. I also started getting migraines at this time, again thinking it was due to stress. My migraines would last 2 weeks and they would not be touched by anything. No painkillers, nothing could touch them. I started tracking my symptoms, and my migraines almost exclusively started during my menstrual cycle. And that's when I started to connect symptoms with the menstrual cycle. I eventually, 2 years ago, sought help for the migraines, and I am on a medication which is great for them. Really well managed with that. And then that's when I started seeking help for the back pain. I was originally diagnosed with fibromyalgia, but I started noticing a big correlation between my symptoms and my menstrual cycle at this point, and it only got worse after I had COVID in January 2021. No doctor has said that COVID can make endometriosis worse, but my symptoms just skyrocketed at that point, and I became almost non-functional. I struggled walking upstairs. At least like a week or 2 weeks of the month, I was incapable of doing my normal activity level. I wouldn't be able to demo stuff in pole at all. So there's been a lot of classes, God bless my students who stuck around, where I've been demoing with my arms like this. Or I've been playing games with them, or I've been doing other activities with them to keep them interested and to keep their pole knowledge growing. It's only since I had the Marina coil fitted last year where my symptoms have started to improve, which does make me think that it is endometriosis. So if you're somebody who's going through something similar, I just thought that this might be helpful. When you book your surgery, there's going to be a lot of emotions happening, whether this is privately or whether or not you're put on the wait list or you're told that you have a date for your surgery. Because it's a long road. The average person, it takes them 7 years to get diagnosed with endometriosis. So when there is this kind of finish line of, I might actually have a diagnosis, I'm going to have surgery, just so many emotions. So for me, the big thing is like the health version of imposter syndrome, right? Like, oh, I'm actually just being a drama queen. I'm not ill. I don't need this. I'm not that bad. My symptoms have improved, so I should just not do this. One, two, oh, they're gonna open me up and find nothing, and everybody will think that I'm faking. That is the other big psychological aspect. And it comes from years of being told your tests are normal, there's nothing wrong with you, there's nothing we can see. And then even like, because it's such a long process, even your loved ones or people close to you can start questioning you. Well, if it was something really bad, then they would have already found it in your blood work, right? And it takes such a psychological toll that I don't think people understand. People think that you're just being over dramatic. And yeah, when you finally have like the potential for some kind of diagnosis or treatment, it can be really scary, right? And the thing that's playing in my mind is, oh yeah, but I'm not that bad, so I can still do things now. And then obviously you get a flare up, you have a symptom start, you know, something kicks off and you're like, yes, I am sick. So yeah, that's the first thing that I've been dealing with. The second thing is, well, will I be able to pole afterwards? How long is it going to take me to recover? What do I need to prepare in advance? So in the rest of this video, I am going to go away. I'm going to compile some research about how to prepare for the surgery, what to expect, and some other comments about that and kind of pole training and stuff like that. But I think for now, this is a little intro just to give you a bit of background on why I'm getting the surgery, and how I'm feeling about it. So it's 2 months away. I'm really excited. I am really nervous that they'll find nothing, and then it's back to the drawing board of going back to the NHS and trying to pursue a different route. But you have to try. Like, it's really affecting my quality of life. I'm in pain every day. There's so many things that I can't do because of this health condition. And I'm excited as well to potentially, one, have a diagnosis, because it's so validating to know that there is something wrong and it's not just in your head. and to have a better quality of life. Like, yeah. Hello, I am here for a little update. It's been about 2 weeks since I last videoed, so I've been doing lots of reading about what to expect from the surgery. I've been talking to other people who've had the surgery, and I have had some updates from the surgery's office as well. So today, because it's 1 month out from my surgery, I did get a little package through the post with instructions on what to do to prepare for the surgery. Some of it I already knew from my own research. Some of it was like specifics, like when I can eat and stuff like that. So the main things that the hospital tell you to do are don't eat for 6 hours beforehand. That's it, their instructions for me. Make sure you're really well hydrated because it helps with avoiding like blood clots and stuff during the surgery. And then they give you a little list of things to prepare. So the thing they told me to bring were a dressing gown and some slippers and some stuff to keep me entertained, books, magazines. They have said you might want to avoid bringing in your phone because there's no, you're in surgery and there's no guarantee that somebody won't just walk off with your phone, basically. So they said bring books, bring magazines to keep you entertained. So I've started preparing some of the stuff that I'm going to take with me. So today I went and got a new bathrobe because the bathrobe I have is really fluffy and really heavy, and I'm having my surgery 1st of August. I don't know whether the hospital's going to be really warm, but I'm somebody who struggles with their temperature regulation anyway. So if I get if it's a warm environment, I get really, really hot, and if it's cold, I get really, really cold. So I've bought myself a lighter dressing gown to take with me. I've also bought myself a nice loose kind of night dress thing, which doesn't really look like a night dress, but I saw it when I was buying my dressing gown and I was like, oh, that looks cute. I'll show you in a minute. And I already have slippers, so I'm going to take the slippers I already have with me. And I've also bought a pair of like sliders to wear out of the hospital, nice and easy to slip on. They're just from Primark. They have these little plastic sliders that you just slip on like slippers. So I thought that'll be really easy because after the hospital, after the surgery, because they are operating on your abdomen, it can be difficult to like bend over. So clothes and shoes where you have to bend over and tie them, or where you have to lift them up like trousers and stuff, can be more challenging from what I have read and what I've seen other people say. So I've been looking for nice loose fit items that I can put on really easily after the surgery. The other thing that people have said online is if you are driving home, you can't drive yourself home. You have to have somebody else drive you home because you've just had general anaesthetic. But on the drive home, because you're going to be wearing a seatbelt, get something soft to go between your stomach and the seatbelt, because otherwise the seatbelt will press against the incisions from the surgery that you've just had and it can cause quite a bit of pain. So actually, because I'm a soppy child, I got myself a squish toy thing. Rather than taking a pillow, I'm taking a squish toy thing with me to go underneath my seatbelt on the drive home. And I've asked one of my friends to pick me up because I did think about getting a taxi, but the problem is I've never had general anaesthetic before, and after it you can feel a bit nauseous and you can be sick, and it would just give me anxiety knowing that I was going into a stranger's car and possibly feeling that way. Whereas with a friend, I can kind of control the environment more, and I can make sure that she has like a sick bag or something available just in case I'm nauseous. Lots of people have said that I shouldn't be, it should be totally fine, but it is like a common occurrence to feel a bit sick after general anaesthetic. So these are some of the things I've been putting in place. I've also been emotionally preparing myself for the possibility of them saying that they find nothing. And that's been a big process over the last couple of weeks for me of dealing with those emotions. And I don't think I've 100% dealt with them. I think I've just kind of squished them into like a manageable box. and they'll probably come out on the day of the surgery. So if they say that they do find something, or if they say they don't find something, I'm 100% expecting to just be like a total emotional wreck, whatever they say. Because it's been a long journey, and it is a long journey for most people with chronic health conditions, especially endo. But those are some of the things I've been doing. Anything else I can think of the top of my head? I've been changing my diet, so I've cut out oat milk. I've cut out dairy, and I've started drinking oat milk. I'm trying to cut down on like how much fast food I eat and stuff like that. Taking supplements before the surgery, just making sure that I'm really fit and healthy. And because I have more energy now after having the coil fitted, so I had the Mirena coil and it really helped my symptoms. I'm training a lot more at the studio. I'm being more active to try and make sure that I'm kind of at peak condition before the surgery. Lots of people don't have this option because when they're going in for the surgery, they still have very debilitating symptoms. So I'm very, very lucky that the Mirena coil has alleviated my symptoms enough that I have periods of the month where I'm able to push myself and where I'm able to train my body. And that's not to say I'm symptom free. I still have daily back pain. I still have migraines. I still have lots of other symptoms that are very uncomfortable, but they're not completely stopping me from being active like they were previously, where it was hard for me to walk and things like that. So I'm excited, and I've got lots more to prepare, but I've just got started on the preparation. And I'll grab the robe that I got and show you in the little nightgown. So this is the nightgown I bought. It is this kind of soft, lighter cotton fabric material, so it's not as heavy as like a fleecy nightgown. So hopefully, because it's August, that will be warm enough. And the lighter nightgown I already have is really short, and I just wanted something that would cover me up a little bit more. And then the night dress I got to come to and from the hospital, it just looks like a holiday dress, right? It's really nice light material. It's really baggy and roomy, so it won't be pressing on me at all. And yeah, it just looks like really comfortable, but it looks like stylish as well. I feel like I'm going to be like, hello, I'm the most stylish hospital patient. And it is Donna Karen, so it is nice. I got it from TK Maxx. And I got the nightgown from TK Maxx because I did go to Primark, but they didn't really have anything in because it's not really the right season because it's summer. They're not selling many bathrobes. But yeah, so I will update just in the lead up to the surgery if there's anything else that I've prepared and anything else that I've been thinking. And then the next update after that will be after the surgery. So speak soon. So how did I prepare as a pole dancing studio owner for the surgery? I realised I haven't covered that. So as a studio owner, obviously having surgery when you're a self-employed person who's running a business is inconvenient. Your body is needed for your job, for your work. So taking any kind of break or doing anything where your body is going to be affected like that takes a lot of thought. So I have been thinking about this for a while, and I started doing preparations. So the first thing I did was expand my studio team. So I had one instructor at the time, but I knew that I would need more instructors in the future if I was to get surgery or if I needed a health break. I now have 3 additional instructors, so I started preparing them probably about a year ago. I think it was when I started introducing the idea of them. It must be at least a year. Started introducing the idea of them shadowing, getting ready to do their training, getting them prepped basically. And that whole process took about a year from when we first started introducing the idea. So I've had the idea of having surgery in the back of my mind for quite a while now. So I prepared that. So I had at least 3 instructors who could take over classes. And what I'm doing on the month that I'm off is I he said I might not need a whole month to recover, but I'm giving myself a month just to have leeway. So I've prepared them to cover all of the different classes. I have instructors, I'm very lucky, who enjoy teaching the dance classes, enjoy teaching the sexy classes, and who enjoy teaching the tricks classes. So I have everything covered. I think the only class we're not able to run next month is one of the dance classes, but we've just merged it together with a different one. So hopefully none of the students will feel like they're missing out. So that's the first thing I did as a studio owner, to prepare, making sure my finances were in order and that I had the financial support I needed in order to take a break, because obviously I'm going to be paying my instructors for a lot more classes than they usually teach. So that had to be built into the break. And so yeah, those were the main things, making sure I had a support network who was able to take over so that the studio wouldn't just grind to a standstill. Yeah, I selected people who I thought were ready for it, who were eager to teach, or quite often I find people who will be good instructors but who don't think they will be, or who don't even think that they can do it. So not necessarily people who really want to do it, although that's always really nice. And one of my instructors actually asked me, can I train up? And I thought she was a really good fit, so I said yes. But one of my other instructors, she just didn't think that she could do it, and she just needed that encouragement because I thought she would be a really good instructor. Yeah, who want to do it or who would be really good at it, who have the skill set. And that doesn't necessarily mean who are good at pole, right? This can, like, you don't need them to all be advanced students. One of my instructors is still in our improver level, and she still is working on her climb and some of her spins and things like that. She's been doing pole about 2 years, but she teaches a beginner level class, and she teaches, you know, dance classes with flow and stuff because she's very good at the dancing. And yeah, just people with the right attitude. So I like to train them up from my current studio base, the students that I have, rather than hiring externally, because then I know they understand the philosophy and the environment and the culture of the studio. And that's just some of my advice for picking instructors if you do own a studio yourself and you want to take a break, so you want to expand your instructor base before taking a break. So I think that is everything I've done as a studio owner to prepare. I've just been putting in loads of procedural things, how they're going to do the cleaning, how the usual jobs that I would do are going to get covered in my absence. And then I'm going to have a Zoom meeting with them, because we have a Zoom meeting every few months just to go over things, admin things and stuff like that, just to make sure everything's in place. The other thing that I am sorting out with them, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. The other thing I'm sorting out is marketing materials. So usually I film reels and videos and take photos and stuff whilst I'm at the studio, but I'm not going to be there for a month. So I'm going to be batching content at the end of July. I've got one this Sunday and then one at the end of July, where I'm going to try and get a bunch of videos and stuff done so that I can continue the social media marketing and the promo pretty much uninterrupted. So these are some of the things you should think about if you are a studio owner. If you're just a pole dancing instructor, then obviously you have to account for your loss of earnings and how you're going to finance that. Do you have a day job that you can continue or get sick leave from? Or do you have people in your family who can help support you? You have to think about the financial side of lost work, because we do use our bodies as part of our work. Other things you should think about as a pole dancing instructor is your recovery time. Give yourself enough time to recover, and when you come back, don't necessarily expect yourself to be able to do exactly what you could do previously, because you might still be recovering for a couple of months. Although they say you can get back to your normal activity, it is a fact that what we do is quite intense on the body, especially around the abdomen, and that's where your incisions are going to be. and you need to give yourself time to ease back into it, because if you've had a month off the normal level of activity, you might have lost a little bit of strength, a little bit of skin conditioning, which you should find comes back quite quickly. I tend to find it does come back quite quick, except when I got back from COVID and then I was just like wiped for like a year. But for most people, it should come back quite quickly. So that's what I'm planning for as well. Not necessarily being at my same 100% immediately after surgery, even when I do get back to teaching and get back to the studio. So I'm looking at my nutrition, I'm looking at my sleep schedule and my rest schedule, and just making sure that I have lots of things in place to keep me healthy and to keep me active and get back into it. Hello, I have one final update. I'm going to make this a final one because this video is already long, and it is the 21st, and my surgery's in about 10 days. So I've had pre-op assessments on the phone, and there's just some information that you might find helpful if you are a pole dancer or an instructor. The first one was that they told me to avoid getting any kind of abrasions or bruising on my abdominal area. So for me, I've been trying to adapt all of my lesson plans for the 2 weeks leading up to the surgery to try and avoid that. For me, because my bruises take quite a long time to like actually fade, they usually take at least a couple of weeks to go completely. And you just don't know when you'll get a cut or a bruise or something from a certain move. Maybe you've done it before and you've been fine, but sometimes you can still get a bruise from it. So that's something to know yourself if you're preparing. I've also had to stop taking my supplements. So I usually take like iron, magnesium, folic acid, things like that. I've had to stop taking those in the lead up to the surgery. And I'm going in for blood tests tomorrow and next week, and for an ECG because I have a heart murmur. So they're being really thorough, luckily. And I am nervous because it's only 10 days away or something. And yeah, so the next update I'll do will be after the surgery. So this week I'm just going to be packing. I'm taking a magazine with me. I'm taking the slippers and my dressing gown and everything they told me to bring. My partner can't be at the hospital with me because of COVID regulations are still in place. So one of my friends is dropping me off and picking me up, but hopefully he'll be able to come in after my surgery just whilst the doctor runs through the results with me, because I feel like I'm going to forget everything that they tell me. So either I'm going to try and record what they say, or hopefully my partner can be in the room when they give me the update. I don't know. They haven't actually told me how that works yet. But yeah, I'm just putting in all the final things. I went out to Costco yesterday and I bought all of the supplies that my instructors need for whilst I'm away. Cleaning supplies, bin bags, loo roll for the studio, coffees for them to drink, all of that good stuff, so that they don't run out of anything whilst I'm away, because then it just means that I can really relax and not even think about it. I don't even need to think about coming to the studio for a month if necessary, instead of having to come after 2 weeks to refill things and stuff like that. So I've managed to redistribute all the major tasks that need doing: hoovering, cleaning the studio cloths, all of the boring stuff that I usually do. My instructors are very, very kindly supporting me in for next month whilst I'm away. And I think that's going to be everything. If anything else comes up, I'll put it in the second video, the second part of this series, in the post-op. So things that maybe I would have done differently, or things I wish I'd known before the surgery, I'll put those in the second video. So keep an eye out for that. And that'll also be when I hopefully have a diagnosis, and I'll be able to talk you through what that is and what it means for me in the future, and perhaps if you're going through something similar, how it might feel for you as well. So wish me luck. it feels like literally like 2 minutes ago that I was saying that this surgery was 2 months away. And I was saying this to my instructors, we were messaging earlier, that it has gone so fast. Where we were first talking about when I first booked it in, and we were like, oh, we've got 2 months to prepare, this, that and the other. And now it's literally like in a week and a half. But yeah, I'm excited. And I'll speak to you in the next video.